Welcome to Self-Care Tips. I am Irene Joroge, and we're looking at the well-groomed gentleman. Men too should not be left out of self-care. I have with me Clara, a haircut specialist, who is going to demonstrate all this to us. The secret to becoming a well-groomed gentleman lies in attention to detail, as Clara is doing it. She's paying very special attention to each and every hair, ensuring that the beard is trimmed to perfection. No trace of hair is left except exactly where it should be. The hairline is trimmed to perfection to give a sharp, neat cut. As you can see, special attention has been paid to detail because the cut is now a square tapering cut, and it looks very neat, very classy, and very well groomed. And we are now waiting for him to have a facial scrub to remove his dead skin. Next treatment, which is a very important part of self-care, is scrubbing the face. Men, remember, your skin matters. You need to look nice, you need to look polished. And we're going to have his skin polished by Carol. This process is called exfoliation, or removal of the dead skin. Everybody's skin has a build-up and it needs to be removed frequently. This helps to keep the skin clear, fresh, and most important, it works to providing a solution to ingrown beard hair, which a lot of men suffer from. So always have a facial scrubbing done at your next trip to the barber shop, or you can do it yourself at home as part of your self-care. It is then washed off carefully with special attention being paid to the eye area and the nose, where there's usually an accumulation of dead skin. Moisturizer is very important to lock in much needed moisture. Most men tend to neglect this part of skincare, and this leads to them having dry skin. With a perfect haircut, polished skin, and good shoes, anyone can be a perfect gentleman. This has been Self-Care Tips. I am Irene Joroge.
I can't wait to be back in school.
Watoto, it's important for you to learn how to properly wear your mask, to stretch your arms, social distance, and properly wash your hands this COVID-19 season.
Great idea, Elsa.
Join Captain Tumaini this Saturday on Big Mind at 9 to 10 a.m. to learn more.
This program was made possible through the support of USAID and Ministry of Health.
To our valued customers, listeners, and viewers, we thank you for being our valued partner. KBC is grateful for the pleasure of serving you, and we hope to continue meeting your expectations. Happy Customer Service Week from us. We celebrate you.
O'clock, bro.
A very good evening to you. This is Easy Friday. My name is Shiksha, Arora, and it is with great sadness that we announce Badi Hussain has passed on. Of course, we really do pass on our condolences as KBC, as his colleagues, to his family, his loved ones, and he will be missed dearly.
Absolutely. Everyone who has passed through Broadcasting House here at KBC has had an interaction with Badi Hussain. A bit later, I'll be sharing my very own. Back in 2006, as a young man, 22 years old, ready to live on in the business of journalism. And the first time in a studio live was with Badi Hussain. I'll be sharing that with you a bit later. Of course, your messages of condolences are coming through. I'll be sharing some of those as we move along. A sad day here at the Broadcasting House, dampening the spirit, but we'll try our best to bring you up to date with the news that's shaping up on this dark day, the 8th day of October 2021.
All right, we'll definitely be keeping you updated with the latest, but remember, you can always interact with us on #EasyFriday at KBC Channel 1, at Shiksha Arora, and at John_Kago_M. For now, it's time for the highlights.
The filing of a case against Kenya at the court and the court's assumption of jurisdiction where it had none are demonstrative of new tactics of using pseudo-judicial processes.
What way Kenya-Somalia relations? Kenya withdraws from the International Criminal Court of Justice 4 days to the maritime dispute ruling.
So we said nobody will lose employment because of COVID. That is in writing. So nobody should be victimized because of COVID-19.
Kotu warns employers against using COVID pandemic to cut employees' salaries.
I'm hurt. I don't support what's going on. I don't support the political activity going on my farm in Kajiado. That is my property. That is my farm, my land, and that is trespass.
We tell you why MP Paris Tobiko's husband is an angry man.
Ndugu halikosi ukoko, mimi ni Badi Hussain.
And sad news, as veteran broadcaster and KBC News anchor, Badi Hussain passes on.
All right, time to bring you up to date, and we start on that sad note where veteran broadcaster Badi Hussain has passed on. The renowned broadcaster died this afternoon in Mombasa. This is according to family sources.
Now, the KBC fraternity, led by the managing director, Dr. Naim Bilal, has learned with shock and disbelief the sudden demise of the Kiswahili broadcaster. Dr. Bilal has described Badi as a disciplined and dedicated news anchor who loved and enjoyed his work.
Oh, Badi's death comes 4 months after making a comeback right here on KBC. He was featuring on the Dira ya Magwiji bulletin that was happening every Saturday.
Mtazamaji, nataraji ulipo mzima Jumamosi ya leo.
Badi Hussain ni mtu ambaye ameumbwa kwa roho safi, ni mtu ambaye amesaidia watu wengi sana hapa, ni mtu ambaye katika Kenya nzima anajulikana kwa sababu ya ufahamu wake kwa lugha ya utangazaji na katika fani ya utafsiri.
He was generous and he was completely a magnanimous man.
Mtu mpole, mtu ambaye anajali wenzake, mcheshi. Newsroom alikuwa akiingia, mkimwona Badi, kila mtu ni Badi, Badi, Badi.
Nimempoteza mwelekezi, nimempoteza ndugu, na vile vile nimempoteza mdau katika tasnia ya wanahabari.
For those who are taking after him, Badi was dedicated and he loved his job. He wasn't just reading the bulletin like any other bulletin, but he wanted to do a good and clean job.
Mutaganga ufuoni, noma iko baharini. Msisingizie mwewe na asidi ni wewe.
Sasa, wangoja nini kwa mwenga na waenga waliisha, tuanze mwenga sasa. Uanze wewe.
Si lazima utukane ndio ujulikane. Si lazima ucheze rafu ndio maarufu. Utamaliza vitabu mkitafuta sababu na hata mkifanya hesabu amupati jawabu.
Oh, buddy. I'm taken back to the year 2006, one Saturday evening, a young man, 22 years old. And I remember speaking to the then news directors. That was Zipporah Mudhui, who is my colleague right here on KBC. We had Monica Kago, who now works with Citizen Television, and of course Catherine Washira, who now works with NTV. They had asked me to come to the studio on a Saturday because I was going to start reading sports at that particular time. They wanted me to shadow and see how it's done, and guess what they do? I come at around 6:30. They tell me to go to the studio. And there is Buddy Mohsin doing the news so effortlessly. He was a good man, a happy man, a jovial man. We have lost a good soul. May his soul rest in peace. Go well, Buddy. All right, and I understand that his body's been flown tonight ahead of his burial tomorrow. Moving on with the other news that's shaping up today. Now, Kenya has withdrawn from the International Criminal Court of Justice ahead of the court's ruling on the Kenya-Somali maritime row. Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary, Ambassador Macharia Kamau, cited a flawed judicial process ahead of the October 12th ruling, accusing the court of bias against Kenya. Now, Kenya's action erodes the legitimacy of the court's rulings.
The Kenya-Somalia maritime boundary row dates back to 2014 when Somalia sued Kenya at the International Court of Justice, accusing its neighbor of encroaching on its maritime zone. Whereas Somalia claims that its boundary in the Indian Ocean runs towards the southeast, Kenya maintains that according to the principle of parallel of latitudes, the boundary runs to the east. Kenya had since 1979 enjoyed uncontested jurisdiction over the area, now under dispute, and declared it an exclusive economic zone owing to its rich oil and gas deposits. As such, Kenya contested Somalia's action, asserting that the ICJ had no jurisdiction over such matters.
In 2009, the two countries entered into an agreement on how and when to amicably address matters concerning the maritime boundary.
Surprisingly, the ICJ, that set the stage for protracted legal battle where Kenya felt the odds stacked against it.
The filing of a case against Kenya at the court and the court's assumption of jurisdiction where it had none are demonstrative of new tactics of using pseudo-judicial processes to undermine territorial integrity.
Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary Ambassador Macharia Kamau found Kenya's position to withdraw from the matter ahead of the ruling on October 12th.
Kenya, on the 24th September 2021, also joined many other members of the United Nations in withdrawing its recognition of the court's compulsory jurisdiction. As a sovereign nation, Kenya shall no longer be subject to an international court or tribunal without its expressed consent.
Kenyans have, however, been assured that the government is fully seized off this matter and asked to remain calm before, during and after the delivery of the judgment. Yusufar reporting for Easy Friday.
Now, the Central Organization of Trade Unions, KOTU, is warning employers against using the COVID-19 pandemic as an excuse to unilaterally slash workers' salaries. While appreciating the strain that the pandemic continues to cause on workers, KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli says employers must enter into an agreement with relevant unions before effecting any pay cut.
With about 4 million people having lost their jobs since the advent of the COVID-19 pandemic in March 2020, Kenya's labour force continues to experience a strain with unpredictability of the future of business. The Central Organization of Trade Unions, KOTU, in response, has drafted a 4-year strategic plan that will guide the employer-employee engagement during the pandemic. KOTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli warning employers who have been unilaterally slashing their workers' salaries.
We signed a memorandum of understanding. One, we said nobody should be sacked. And we said where there is work, workers should continue working. where there is a problem because of social distancing and so on, those who are having leave, they should be given should be given paid leave. Those who might have exhausted their leave and whatever, and COVID is still rampant in that particular area, they can still go on unpaid leave, but they don't lose their jobs.
Atwoli says every employer must enter into an agreement with the relevant union before effecting a pay cut.
Because the union will be able to assess the situation that the company is in, whether they are lying or whether they are making money. The union is part of that particular enterprise, and they will make a joint judgment. So we said nobody will lose employment because of COVID. That is in writing. So nobody should be victimized because of COVID-19.
KOTU and its affiliates will be exploring ways of shoring up government efforts in economic recovery so as to cushion workers.
And we have heard about a lot of economic theories. There is nothing like those theories cannot get you out of economic shambles if you don't work for what you want to achieve.
Atwoli has in the meantime urged workers to get the COVID-19 jab to hasten the march to herd immunity.
A very important issue out of that, it teaches us, as shown in this paper here, that we must go for vaccination and protect ourselves. Because of that, you know, you have moved from red to amber, and now you can visit the Great Britain.
John Jacob Kuria, Easy Friday.
Now, First Lady Margaret Kenyatta is appealing to healthcare service providers to include palliative care as part of primary healthcare packages offered to Kenyans. The First Lady said provision of palliative care, which she termed as a human right, would help lower the nation's disease burden. She challenged healthcare stakeholders to ensure such services are available across the country.
The First Lady Friday unveiled Kenya's first national palliative policy, saying palliative care is critical in restoring dignity to those suffering from terminal diseases.
Palliative care is recognized as a human right because of the rising burden of non-communicable diseases that have caused life-limiting illnesses to millions of people globally. It requires creation of systems and adaptation of how we deliver health care.
The First Lady spoke during the opening of the Nairobi Hospice, where she called for capacity building community health workers.
However, more needs to be done to increase awareness amongst policymakers, health professionals, and the public about palliative care and its benefits. All this is possible if we improve our advocacy and education on this subject so that we apply it at all stages of disease management, from early diagnosis rather than end-of-life treatment. I urge that we find solutions that will accelerate the integration of palliative care across all levels.
She lauded the Ministry of Health for developing a care policy which she said will help accelerate provision of the key service in the country.
I believe that this policy will go a long way in identifying solutions and paving way for increased allocation of resources to establish more palliative and hospice centers. It will also provide the necessary template for provision of affordable medicine and treatment for managing symptoms.
Health Chief Administrative Secretary Dr. Mercy Mwangangi said the new policy will help steer the government's ambitious plan to increase the number of palliative centers in the country.
We need to talk about how do we finance palliative services, what is the role that NHIF will play, and Your Excellency, I must say, through the engagement of different partners on this podium, we've been able to review the benefit package, the UHC benefit package, to ensure that components of palliative care are included, and with increasing fiscal space to ensure that we can include more and more services in that benefit package.
Reporting for Easy Friday, I'm Jackie Wambiru.
Now, Deputy President William Ruto has challenged his political rivals to focus on issue-based politics and desist from spreading propaganda about his bottom-up economic model. Ruto, who was speaking during the official launch of Kajiado East MP Peris Tobiko's gubernatorial race, insisted that he is on course with his plan to empower the vulnerable in Kenya. Take a look.
East Member of Parliament Peris Tobiko, who has been an ardent supporter of the handshake, has changed tune and danced to the UDA party rhythm as she officially launched her gubernatorial bid, pledging to prioritize the county's growth and development.
I will deal with devolved functions. Ndaletea hao wananchi maji, ndawatengenezea mabarabara, ndawatengenezea masipitali, nitawekea dawa hospitali, nitalipa wafanyikazi wa county. Your Excellency, I am up to the task.
Tobiko, who will have to face other strong contenders for the UDA's party ticket, calling for a free and fair nomination.
Mimi sijakuja hapa kuomba direct nomination. Nasema naomba free and fair nominations. Hiyo ndio ninaomba, Your Excellency.
Deputy President William Ruto leading his allies in affirming Tobiko of their support.
Watu wa Kajiado East, mimi nawavulia kofia. Amen. Kwa sababu nyinyi ni jamii ya wafugaji ya kwanza kuchagua mama mbunge kiongozi.
Leo nimekuja rasmi kufungulia Peris Tobiko aingie ndani ya hasla, aone vile hasla wanakaa.
The DP using the platform to take a swipe at his political rivals, whom he accused of poking holes onto his bottom-up economic model without presenting an agenda for the country.
Sisi wote tunaotafuta uongozi wa Kenya, kwanza kila mtu akuje na sera yake. You must have a plan. Wezi tukuja kitendawili.
For Prime Edition, I'm Safin Achieng Ouma.
Kajiado, and someone is not quite happy with that. Now, the spouse of Kajiado, East Member of Parliament Peris Tobiko, is not a happy man. Reason being that the Deputy President William Ruto allegedly sneaked into his homestead in Kajiado to meet his politician wife while he was away. The legislator's husband, Kishanto Ole Suji, has reported the Deputy President to the police.
Ordinarily, the presence of a senior politician, particularly of the status of Deputy President, will be seen as special honor, but not to Kishanti Ole Suji, the husband to Kajiado East Member of Parliament Peris Tobiko.
Samuel Ruto hana ruhusa kuingia kwa mali ya watu bila kualikwa. Ingekuwaje kama ningeenda kwake Karen mahali anaishi na bibi yake, ama huko Eldoret mahali anaishi? Anasikiaje watu wanaenda kwake na hajaulizwa na mtu yeyote, na hajapeana ruhusa yake, hajaulizwa?
To Ole Suji, the Deputy President misused his office powers in making what he referred to as intrusion of his privacy.
My right has been infringed by Samuel Ruto as a citizen of Kenya. For somebody trespassing on other people's property without their authority.
Tobiko's husband has also strongly distanced himself from the political activities that were staged at his home.
I'm hurt. I don't support what's going on. I don't support the political activity going on my farm in Kajiado. That is my property. That is my farm, my land. And that is trespass.
Suji says he has filed a complaint with police in Kajiado.
All right, so we'll be taking the first short commercial break. But before that, just some messages coming in on Twitter on hashtag Easy Friday. We've got Felix who says, watching TV from South B, Nairobi, rest in peace to the legend. So sad to hear about Badi Mosin's demise. Another one that says, we're tuned in from Moy's Bridge, Quenet. We are together. That's from Diwa_Kirui. Another one that says, this is so hard for me to hear. I can't believe it. Rest easy, Badi Mosin. I'm sad. That's from the Kiongos.
All right, and on YouTube, actually we are live on YouTube. If you have your gadget, you can stream live. We have John Joroge, who is watching from Amboseli, saying rest in peace, the legend. Raymond Mbogora is saying rest in peace, Badi. And of course, a whole lot of feedback coming in regards to the demise of our very own Badi Mosin. Our heart cries out. It's such a sad day today, and even going through some of the groups, the WhatsApp groups here on KBC, it's a disheartening day today, and losing Badi Mosin really hurts deep. It cuts deep.
May his soul rest in peace. Let's take that short commercial break.
Yeah. In 1950, the radical Kikuyus secretly founded Mau Mau and invented a new oath to unite the people in revolt against British rule. Young militants used Kenyatta's party, the Kenya African Union, KAO, as a cover.
We had oathing places in Nairobi and other areas. This was being organized under the umbrella of the Kenya African Union, and nobody would suspect, because sometimes we used to have our meetings in my office in Kiburi House. After having KAO meeting in the evening, then later at night, we bring our central committee of Mau Mau when everybody else who is not a member has left.
Ili kupata sikiza tune hii ya kibeti, bonyeza *811*962#.
Haki umefanya vizuri sana kunifikia hii simu sasa. Nimekuwa na stress kutoka asubuhi kabisa. Na ni huyu mtu ambaye alikuwa anapatiana majina ya vitu. Kwani hakutufikiria sisi watu wa Eastern Ukambani? Ni nani alisema ati wife kwa Kiswahili ni mke? Na akasema ati handbaka. Hii inabebwa na mwanamke, handbaka. Ati kwa Kiswahili ni kibeti. Huku kwetu mke ndiye kibeti.
Ili kupata sikiza tune hiyo ya kibeti, bonyeza *811*962#. *811*962#.
How did you discover that your son was having some behavior that was not okay?
He started having problems at school. He was in high school, I think Form 1, Form 2. Then he would have discipline cases, and more often than not, he would be sent home. Unfortunately, for some time, I thought it was just a pure case of indiscipline.
Are we as a country, as far as addressing mental illness is concerned?
As a country, the burden on mental health is so bad right now, because a report by WHO states that 1 in every 4 persons is suffering from one of the illnesses, and especially depression.
I don't quite remember anybody coming to me and telling me that we need to seek professional help at the time. We were just at the mercy of the world, I would say.
This is an independent country and I can do anything I want, okay? You hate to insult me. Majorly, Now I will give you a piece of my mind. You are doing it because you want people's attention.
Pens, books on the table, total silence and speedy brain performance.
Malimo, our money.
I said pens, books on the table, total silence and speedy brain performance.
I think this school is cursed. Why do we always get these nutheads in the name of leaders? I can do a better job even without the school degree.
All right, now moving on. ODM leader Raila Odinga now says leaders implicated in corruption should not be allowed to vie in the 2022 general election and beyond.
In a thinly veiled attack against his perceived political nemesis, Raila insisted that many leaders are masquerading as people's savior, yet they are not.
He said Kenyans find themselves in the economic turmoil they are in because of corrupt leaders.
Achola Simon has this report.
ODM leader Raila Odinga took his Azimio la Umoja campaign to the Western region.
Na mimi nataka niambie watu wetu wa Luhya, wakati huu muangalie vizuri. Tunatembea pamoja.
Raila pitched camp in Luanda constituency, Vihiga County, with a message that all those implicated in corrupt activities must not be allowed to vie in the next poll and beyond.
Hao watu hawafai hata wawe kama viongozi. Maana yake wana uchafu ya wizi ambayo wameiba kwa serikali. Wanarudi kuja kila mahali wakati ya campaign. Ati sasa mimi nimekuja kufanya harambee kwa group ya kina mama, harambee kwa vijana. Ati ameenda kwa kanisa, ametoa gari kwa bishop kanisani. Kule katika shule ametoa bus kwa mashule. Hiyo yote ni pesa ya umma ambayo ameiba.
ODM leader also took a swipe at those calling on him to retire from politics, while he remained non-committal on whether he will go for the top seat or not. The former premier maintained that his decision will be hinged on numbers of registered voters from his political base.
Huwezi kusema tu kwa mdomo unataka baba akuwe rais na hapa kwa mfuko una kura na una kitambulisho. Hiyo sasa utakuwa unatusaidia. Nchi ya kupata renaissance. Every nation in the world must go through a renaissance. The period for renaissance for this country is with us. And the year for renaissance for 2022 in Kenya has arrived.
Revisiting the defeat of the BBI appeal, Raila said more resources meant for devolved units will be held at the national level.
Sasa ili constituency ile ya Emuhaya inaweza kukufa. Hata ile ya Vihiga inaenda kukufa kwa sababu BBI ilienda likizo. Hiyo ni shida mingi zaidi. Lakini sisi tutatumia mbinu ili mambo yaendelee namna hiyo, hizo constituencies zisikufe.
Bado tunaendelea kuomba Mwenyezi Mungu, siku moja Mheshimiwa Raila utapata nafasi ya kufufua BBI. Ndio yale mazuri ambayo ilikuwa kwa BBI ije isaidie watu wetu vile ilikuwa imepangwa.
Achola Simon, Easy Friday from Vihiga County.
Welcome back. We now take a look at what's happening in the world of business. But before I tell you what has been happening or what has been making headlines, we'll go straight to Amboseli, where Regina Manyara will be joining us live as they get to witness the Tembo Festival. Can you tell us, Regina, what's happening on your end?
Good evening. Yes, indeed, we're coming to you live from the Amboseli National Park at the Old Tukai Lodge that is going to be hosting the first ever, the Magical Kenya Tembo Naming Festival to just bolster conservation efforts. Aside than being that, the first ever to be carried out in Kenya, and it is officially in the tourism calendar. It is also going to help, just save these elephants. Remember, if you have been watching documentaries, Carol, we have the infamous or rather the famous Echo, Team, Craig and such. All these are elephants to behold, and they're domiciled right here in Kenya. We need to do more when it comes to conservation. We'd want to hear from Governor Ole Lenku, who is playing host tomorrow, and to just help us, understand what the community, or rather what this event means for the community going forward.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to pass my pole to Badi Muksin family and say let his soul rest in peace. We are in the verge of opening the Magical Kenya Temple naming ceremony, where corporates and individuals are going to put money into naming the elephants with their names, and KWS is going to use the money towards conservation. I'm happy as governor of Kajiado, where Amboseli National Park is, that finally KWS have realized unless the neighboring communities, the communities that support animals, get the benefit from this wildlife, there is no future for the wildlife. This ceremony is actually a fundraising affair where individuals will pay money and corporates so that elephants are named after their names. And this money, 70% of the money will go to the local communities in terms of water, supporting education and other conservation efforts. 20% will go to infrastructure for the wildlife and the park, and 10% to the administration in KWS and the parks. This 70% is a very important input into the local community, so that the local communities appreciate that there is really value coming from wildlife. This is a departure from where before the local communities were feeling like KWS, investors in the national parks are making money, while the local communities are bearing the brand of hosting these communities. People and their wildlife and their animals are killed by these animals, and if they don't get benefit, that is why many a times we have said no to these animals coming to private ranches. I have personally before said we are unhappy, but today I am happy that ultimately some money is going to come to our neighboring communities, and the local communities will feel the benefit from this wildlife. So congratulations to KWS, Magical Kenya and the other players, and we are looking forward to tomorrow naming of the temples, and we are looking forward to the local community seeing the benefits of hosting these temples. Yes.
There you've heard it, Caroline. We have been talking to Governor Ole Lenku. They're optimistic that this initiative is going to go further to bolster conservation efforts, as well as just bring harmony or a harmonious coexistence between humans and wildlife. I'm Regina Manyara reporting from Oltukai Lodge, Amboseli National Park, Kajiado County.
For that update, and we'll be looking forward to the naming of the temple tomorrow. I'm so sure you'll be bringing us the details as they happen, so we'll be looking forward to that. Now, moving on to the stories of the day, the Communication Authority of Kenya will crack the whip on illegal courier operators who have flooded the market, posing a risk to consumers. The authority says it has enhanced its surveillance on the unlicensed operators who have taken advantage of the rise in online shopping due to COVID-19 pandemic. Data from Communication Authority, CA, indicates that the number of licensed courier operators jumped to 289 in June 2021 from 263 in June 2019. In the same period, the number of private courier outlets grew from 788 to 901 in 2021. In June this year, CA revoked the licenses of 21 service providers due to what the authority said was non-compliance with the applicable license conditions.
The ministry and the industry regulator noted with concern that a number of firms took advantage of the pandemic to start offering unlicensed courier services in the country.
The government has directed CA to get rid of illegal courier service operators who have flooded the market. Speaking during the World Post Day, ICT Chief Administrative Secretary Maureen Mbaka says unlicensed courier service providers are a danger to consumers.
I am therefore calling upon the CA to enhance its enforcement interventions across the country and ensure that those firms operating without licenses are weeded out of the market.
CA will carry out a market study in order to earmark challenges hampering efficient service delivery.
The survey outcomes will inform development of strategies to bridge the identified gaps, targeting both consumers and postal and courier service providers.
Online businesses should not just be inland, it should also be outward. That way, we can have balances and supporting our own people, our own industries, our own innovations.
The Postmaster General said they are working with Swift Lab, which is a local tech company, to develop drones that will be used in the delivery of letters and parcels in the country. Now, moving on, Wilson Mudhara has been appointed as the new Kenya Tea Development Agency, and you can find more details in our subsequent bulletins, or you can go to the website, that is www.kbc.co.ke. And that is how we wrap up business news for tonight. Karen Kibet is coming up with a sports update. My name is Carol Jenga. I leave you with how the shilling has been performing against other major currencies, and also how the shares are performing at the NSC.
Welcome back. It's now time for us to take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. My name is Karen Kibet. Now, the national soccer team Harambee Stars jetted back home on Friday afternoon after a disappointing outing in Agadir, Morocco, where the Engin Firat Chargers suffered a humiliating 5-0 loss to Mali in a decisive 2022 World Cup qualifier. Kenya will host the Eagles of Mali this Sunday in the return leg at the Nyayo National Stadium.
Harambee Stars arrived back home Friday afternoon and will now shift focus to the return leg, slated for Sunday. Engin Firat made a disappointing debut with Harambee Stars after an embarrassing 5-0 loss to Eagles of Mali in Agadir World Cup qualifiers. Mali now top Group E of the World Cup qualifiers with 7 points, 2 points ahead of Uganda, who have 5 following their Thursday 1-0 win in Kigali, as Kenya and Rwanda take 3rd and 4th positions with 2 and 1 point respectively. Mali boasts of 6 goals now, with 5 goals scored against Kenya after beating Rwanda by a solitary goal before drawing 0-0 with Uganda in Kampala. Daniel Mwendwa, Sports.
And we do wish Harambee Stars all the best in the return leg that will be happening this Sunday. Thanks to KBC, we all got to watch the 5-0 beating. We wish them all the best. Now, moving on, the national under-20 women's football team Rising Starlets were bundled out of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers after losing 3-1 to hosts Uganda in the return leg. Margaret Kunihira, Hadija Nandago and Juliet Nakulenge were on target for the hosts, while Paris Insede scored the consolation goal for Rising Starlets. Kenya had lost 7-2 to neighbors Uganda in the first leg played at the Nyayo National Stadium. Kenya's preparations for the 2-legged knockout qualifier started off with a selection exercise on 15th September. A total of 100 golfers have enlisted at this weekend's 17th round of the NCBA Golf Series, which will be held this Saturday at Leisure Lodge Golf Resort, Diani, Kwale County. This will be the second time the series will be heading to the coast, having previously been hosted at the Mombasa Golf Club and at the Nyali Golf Country Club in June this year. The top 5 finishers will join 80 other golfers who have already qualified for the series final, which will be held in December at the Karen Country Club. The series also consists of a junior golf tournament that was held in August in Karen, where 43 junior golfers aged between 6 and 18 years qualified to play at the Rome Classic and South Africa Big 5 tournaments. We've just read that. AC Milan fullback Theo Hernandez And that's all we had for you right here at the KBC Sports Desk. I'll see you next week, Monday to Friday. Do have yourself a lovely night. But I do hand you back to Kago and Shiksha.
All right, thank you so much, Marakwet Express, Karen Kibet. And of course, it's going to be a busy weekend for those that love boxing. I'm sure we'll cover that tomorrow. Tyson Fury against John T. Wilder. It's builders once and for all bout. It's happening tomorrow. It's going to be an interesting one. And of course, on Sunday, the reigning world champions, that's in the Nations League final. Spain will be up against France, and a whole lot more happening over the weekend. Thank you so much, Karen Kibet, for that. And of course, a lot of your feedback coming through as you pass your messages of condolence as a result of the passing of our very own Buddy Musin, who's passed on today. The latest is that his body will be flown in the city today, and he will be buried tomorrow. Expect a detailed coverage tomorrow about the life and times of Buddy Musin. Many thanks indeed for making time to watch Easy Friday. My name is John Kago. We're crossing over to the other side of the studio where Shiksha Arora has the spotlight. That's in a couple of minutes. Keep it locked. Good evening. Have a good one.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email newsroom@kbc.co.ke, call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
The road to the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar continues with a hunt for the 5 exclusive slots. Kenya's Harambee Stars will host the Eagles of Mali this Sunday at the Nyayo National Stadium from 4 p.m, all determined to get a win to keep their dreams alive. This match will be brought to you live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner, only available on Signet and free-to-air decoders.
Hey, he's not my friend. He's an acquaintance. Such a thug. And trust me, one day you pay for this.
Please, and do exactly what I tell you to.
Okay, Tanya, I will not sign anything unless I know what's happening. See, the only thing that I agreed to is this stupid plan of yours was to get my mother's health back.
You don't have to advertise it to the whole world.
balance.
Yes. Koljax, you're on air. Mark, can you take a picture of me and him just like in conversation?
Jerry, nakajiandae twende Regency. Jorembo wako wendo fiancé. Jo twende outing, nataka jiji la Nairobi tambue. Wendo number 1 queen, nitajigamba di wote wakujue. Because the love that you give me, explicit. The things you did do me, exquisite. If I hurt you, I'm sorry, excuse me. Cause baby girl, if you go, you will confuse me. Love that you give me, explicit. The things you did do me, exquisite. If I hurt you, I'm sorry, excuse me. Cause baby girl, if you go, you will confuse me. Baby, can I have a kiss? Can I have a that? Can I have a kiss? Can I have a that? Can I have a kiss? Can I have a that? Baby, can I have a kiss? Can I have a that? Can I have a kiss? Can I have a that? Can I have a kiss? Can I have a that? Can I have a that? Denda, denda, denda.
Once a mami unapotembea, mwendo wako kauna pepe, malaika mola kanipea, wangu milele nitamlea. What you gonna do, what you gonna do, when a star like me falls in love with you? What you gonna do, what you gonna do, ready or not, I'm coming for ya. Nipe matamu mashamsham, wajua nakutaka nina ham. Kweli utanipenda bila mkwanja, ama itanibidi niuze shamba. Because the love that you give, explicit. The things you did do me, exquisite. If I had you, I'm sorry, excuse me. Girl, if you go, you will confuse me. Because the love that you give me, explicit. The things you did do me, exquisite. If I had you, I'm sorry, excuse me. Girl, if you go, you will confuse me. Baby, can I have a kiss? Can I have a that? Can I have a kiss? Can I have a that? Can I have a kiss? Can I have a that? Baby, can I have a kiss? Can I have a that? Can I have a kiss? Can I have a that? Can I have a kiss? Can I have a that? Can I have a that? Wanimaliza nikiwa nawe, wote wanajua wendo my mela queen. Mapozi yako tumekubale, hakena ni umbo fine, weni wa magazine. Mmoja au mapacha niambie, chagua kwenye menyu kupatie. Ombi lako sharti kwangu lazima nilitimie, baby. Oh, can I have a this? Can I have a that? Can I have a that? Can I have a that? Can I have a kiss? Can I have a that? Yeah. Whoa. Can I have a kiss? Can I have a that? Can I have a kiss? Can I have a that? Can I have a kiss? Can I have a that? Baby. Kajiandae twende Regency, jorembo wako wendo fiancé. Oh, jo twende outing, nataka jiji la Nairobi tambue. Wendo number 1. Music, I'd say, started when I was very young. I grew up in Lamu, actually, coast, and my father specifically loved listening to Franco, Tarab. So I grew up listening to me. We had a small radio. Remember the radios that had the cassettes that you have to, if you don't want to waste your battery, you have to use your pen to rewind. Yeah, to rewind. Yeah, exactly. We had one of those, and it actually even I remember it kept
every morning I kept waking up whenever we were supposed to get ready to go to school. There's this song by the late Oliver Mtukudzi, Toddy. Oh, Toddy. That's the song that always woke me up. That was my alarm. So I grew up around people who listen a lot of music, and the passion grew even much more from my late uncle, may soul rest in peace, Mr. Francis. He was a choir master at a church, a Catholic church called Kibuye. So I remember he used to put us down every evening, me and my cousins, and then we had to like be given sounds. You will sing tenor, you soprano, you this, you bass. And whenever he gave us these notes to sing, I never got any wrong. And he used to actually cane whoever will sing something wrong. So I was on his good books.
Always.
So there's this one, and if you're in the good books, of course, you'll always have the gifts, right?
Yeah.
So after every session, maybe he would be like, you did well today, take this 5 bob. You did well today, go buy yourself some milk. Go buy this. So I was like, oh, music actually pays.
And who knew? Years later, music does pay.
Yeah, it pays. So I started, that's where I can say that's when I actually even found, I was like, I want to do this.
That's where you found your love for music.
Yeah.
Lovely. And of course, you know, living in Kisumu, here in Nairobi, how did you make that transition? And when did you get noticed here in Nairobi? Did you come to Nairobi solely to pursue music?
I'd say yes. I came to Nairobi solely to pursue music because I met BN from Sauti Sol.
Okay.
Like 5 years back, I don't know, 2016 if I'm not wrong, and he really liked my music, and he was like, yo, you guy you can sing. What are you doing right now? I was like, I'm still in school. I was still in Moi University by then. So he told me, okay, you finish your school. After you're done, come to Nairobi. Do you have anybody? Can you have a place to crash when you come to Nairobi? I'm like, yeah, I have a sister. Shout out to you, sis. Yeah, so you're like, okay, you come to Nairobi, and then we can see what we can do. So after school, I came to look for BN to help me in my music. So by that time, I would say they had a lot of tours around, so it was hard getting a hold of him. In the meantime, my sister was like, you can try look for some jobs. So I tried looking for jobs and here and there interviews, but it never worked. So I remember there was some music competitions that I ventured into, and they did good, but still I was still just trying to get this music.
Finding your ground.
And then my cousin took me to one of the studios that apparently the Sautis were recording at that time. So when I went there that day, BN was in the studio, and then he's like, what are you doing here, Max? I'm like, this is my cousin. What? Trevor is your cousin? I'm like, yeah, Trevor is my cousin. So they're like, okay, we love that. So come, let's do something. So from then, they started giving me like jobs of doing background vocals for their tracks. Extravaganza, Pombe Sigara, Lucy.
Wow.
Yeah, so I grew fond of them. We created a very good rapport. And then I just got into the family of the soul family. So so that's how I even got into the big song like Rumba Japani.
Oh,
just happened
lovely.
Like that. Yeah.
Do you know, we'll definitely get back to this conversation, and we'll have more of these conversations, because I'm really enjoying listening to you and hearing your journey, and of course you as you take us through starting off from Kisumu and of course to now where you are today. So we'll do that, but for now let's just play a track, one of your tracks. Welcome back. I just had to make you listen to that track because, man, nimekufa. For real. That song, I remember when it released, I don't understand the Luo, obviously. But when I heard it, I just felt like I wanted to sing, I wanted to dance, and I wanted to vibe to the song just because of how beautiful it actually is. I know it's a romantic number, of course. I know Sherry means my love, right? But what exactly are your lyrics saying?
My lyrics are more of a confession to my partner in this scenario.
Right.
That I'm so much in love with her that I'm ready to do anything.
Wow.
I'm ready to go climb mountains to just make sure that at least I put the food on the table. That I want her to be the mother to my children.
How sweet.
Yeah, and when she touches me, I just die.
Oh.
I can't stand. Oof.
Oof.
Yeah, man.
Are you a romantic in real life as well?
I want to believe I am. Yes, I am.
Is that where you draw your inspiration from? Because this is who you are.
Clearly.
You know, outside as well.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, that's where I drew my. I'm not sure if that's where, but I'm sure it's a part of.
Yeah, it's kind of related.
A piece of me that actually I do that. I can draw my inspiration from that side.
Okay.
But I'd say that what makes me want to do this even better is my background.
Yes.
If I see where I've come from, I really want to make it better for my parents and my family. So I'd say that's more of where I get my drive from.
And this is just the beginning, Okello. I believe you have such a phenomenal, bright future ahead of you. This is just the beginning to great things, and filling up stadiums. And I'm sure you have dreams. What are some of your dreams?
Yeah, my dreams would actually be just go global.
Okay.
And just touch people with my music.
Right.
I just want to touch everybody with my music. And so far, I'm very, very, very humbled and grateful for the love that people are showing me right now. The reception, I didn't expect it to be like this. But yeah, I released an audio that actually hit like almost 700K.
Wow.
An audio, then a video. It's only a month that it's at 860, if I'm not wrong.
Incredible.
So yeah, so the reception is actually overwhelming. And I promise to give my best every other time when I get to do my work.
And most of your songs we've heard you sing in Daluo, right?
Yeah.
Is this something that you want to continue to do, or you believe that maybe you'll make a transition to English or Kiswahili at some point, or you're going to mix the three?
Actually, I'd say I'll have to mix at some point, but of which I have. I have a lot of projects where I've just sung Swahili, pure Swahili. Because I want to believe I'm one of the Luos who speak good Swahilis, actually.
You're speaking great English as well, just by the way. And I know men, especially from Kisumuland and Homa Bay, the English is very on point. The vocabulary is so sweet.
Actually, okay, if I might be the only one who... You see, those who actually you say speak sweet and perfect ones, they're like, you're doing good, you'll be great, just keep up. My English is, I want to believe it's getting there.
It's getting there?
Yeah.
I feel like you're doing a tremendous job, phenomenal job. So keep it up. I must say, maybe at some point you'll teach me a few words in the Luo. And and maybe I'll be able to converse with you, right?
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah, so my music is actually will be integrated with a few of the Luo here, Swahili, English at some point.
Lovely.
So people should just expect spontaneous Okello Max, but Luo should be my signature.
Love it. Love to hear it. Now let's talk about expectations, because now that you've mentioned it, what can we expect from you in the next 5 years? Any exciting projects that you have in mind? Who would you like to work with, to collaborate with? Which artists do you think would be a dream, come true if you're able to sing with them in future?
Oh, wow. I have a long list of that. I have a very, very long list.
Okay, name your top 3 male and top 3 female.
Top 3 male. I'd say top 3 male. Let me start with, I believe, I like Rayvani.
Okay.
He's an amazing artist. I'd say, what's his name? This guy from Nigeria.
Burna Boy?
Keys Daniel.
Oh, Keys Daniel.
Yeah, Keys Daniel is one of my, he's like a mentor to me.
Okay.
And yeah, the big guy himself, Bana.
In Kenya?
In Kenya, my dream was to work with Sauti.
And you did?
And I did.
Tick.
So I'd say maybe Otile Brown, Calligraph, Octopus, or actually I love all artists. I love Kenyan artists. The list, that's why I said the list is quite long.
You're too kind.
No, I'm not kind. I love good music.
Okay.
Because I respect everybody who puts work in their art.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I'm a creative also. I know the work that people always put people never see the background or whatever
behind
happens.
The scenes of
behind
what
the
goes
scenes.
on.
Yeah, people never know what goes in there. There is a lot of sweat and tears and everything. So I respect anybody who actually puts in the work. So if the music is good, I'm open to work with anybody who actually puts in the work, because I do put work in
Any
my work.
exciting collabos and upcoming projects that you have lined up that you can share with us today?
I'm just not sure about the singing part, because I didn't, maybe just an a cappella, because I don't know the chords of the song.
Okay.
But I'm releasing a song with Bien.
Oh, lovely.
On the 15th, actually, of this month.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so if all goes well, things might happen. But if there won't be anything wrong, the song will be dropping on the 15th. The song is called I Got You. I got you guys.
Absolutely. Okello definitely got you. If you're his fan, he's got some phenomenal music coming up. He's going to be releasing a song with the one and only Bien. So
Baldman, who actually
wait
today,
and watch.
He actually released
another one.
Yeah, today.
Yeah. So there's a lot more, in terms of what we can expect from you in the near future.
Yeah, there's a lot. I have an album that I'm trying to compile as well.
Lovely.
Yeah, so people should just expect
the unexpected.
Yeah.
So Okello, tell me more about some of the challenges that you encountered when you came to Nairobi. As you mentioned, that it's not easy as an artist. People don't really see the behind the scenes. People don't see what's going on when it comes to budgets, when it comes to sponsorships, when it comes to getting all these things together so that you can put up a song and actually release a video as well. It takes a lot, right? It takes a lot. So maybe you can just tell us some of the obstacles that you've encountered along the way in your music journey.
I'd say there's a lot that maybe if we started talking about, we won't be able to finish. But the main that actually all artists face, I'm sure, is there's always start with finances, the budgeting, because I remember after I came to Nairobi, I got a deal from a very good friend of mine, and he actually allowed me to record in his studio for free.
Wow.
So I ended up having to a maximum of almost 30-something songs, but I can't release them because I don't have the cash to do the videos for, and the videos are actually quite expensive. Very expensive, actually. They're not quite, they're very expensive. And I would say I'm more of a perfectionist. So some people are like, oh, just try, do a low budget video. But I think my OCD won't allow me to do that. I like things done perfectly.
And I mean, you've set the bar really high with the Nakufa.
Yeah.
We've watched the video. The video itself, it just screams perfection. Yeah. Right?
So I'm that type of a person who actually, what I can actually thank myself for is the patience that I have. Because I'm sure something will just happen. Let me just hold on to this. But I'm also like, oh, time is going. I'm not getting any younger. So I was like, okay, let me just try. And finally, eventually, I'd say God was so kind to open ways. And I was able to do the video of Nakufa. Amazing. And I'm so happy that it came out as it did, because that's what I was actually going for with my team. And it came out so good. And the reception actually. So people should always invest in their craft. Invest. If you go the cheap way, or if you go, you can go. There are people who actually go the easy way because that's what they have at the moment. So if you don't have the problem that I have of perfection, you can do what you think is best.
Each to their own.
Yeah.
You're probably somebody who has a very great eye when it comes to details. So that's something that you struggle with because you're always looking at the finer picture and you're always looking at things in a very intricate way because you're paying attention to the details, which I think is great because it's going to take you a long way in terms of your craft, because we've clearly seen that the results of Nakufa have been great.
Actually, it helps a lot also in your branding.
Yes.
So that when a corporate gig comes and you give them your red card, they're like, oh yeah, it's actually worth it because we see what he puts out.
Yeah.
So you need to, it's a lot. It's just a lot.
It's a lot. As you said, if you start, you're not going to finish. So let's move on to something more exciting.
All right.
So, Okello, you mentioned to us that you are romantic. Is Okello Max single?
Okello Max is not single.
Okay. Just break the heart right now. Ni sawa tu.
Okay,
I can hear them.
Kilomak is not single, but they should not worry. I can be a Muslim. I hear Muslims can take up to 4 wives. Yeah, so don't worry.
What a diplomatic answer. You see, as I said, this man over here just has a way with his words, which is why his music sounds the way it does. Because he's so smooth with his words. Did you hear that? He said, I can be a Muslim.
Yeah, also they should not worry. I shouldn't break any heart. I don't want any heart broken out there.
We don't want. I'm sure your songs will heal the hearts. So that's something that we're expecting in future.
Actually, I always go live on my Instagram.
Okay.
I always have my own live sessions with my fans. And yeah, I just play there. Put actually a number there. And they actually, I always pretend that I'm somewhere in a train station just performing.
Okay.
So I imagine people passing by and maybe dropping some coins.
Because that's the culture abroad.
Yeah.
You know, people have literally risen from nothing to huge sensations just through performing at the tube station, at the train station.
Yeah, so that's what I always do. And the ladies there, oh, I love them. They always come there.
They come through for you?
They actually say that they have created a WhatsApp group, Okelomak's wives.
Really?
Yeah. So somebody will come and like, I'm number 257. So I think I'll be the next Solomon. I'm not sure, but kukudenja.
Nikubaya.
Nikubaya, nikuzuri.
Nikuzuri for you, isn't it? Right, so Okelo, tell us about, you've mentioned a few things in terms of your journey, your obstacles, and you've encountered some of the challenges. But what has been a defining moment for you in your career? What has been the best moment so far? Something that you'll never forget?
Something that I will never forget, actually, I'd say is the love that I've received from my latest song, Nakufa. That is something that actually hit me so hard. I didn't expect it at all.
Right.
I remember when we were releasing the audio. Okay, how the reason as to why I even decided to release the audio, because I told you that I have a lot of songs, but I chose that. Why? Because there's this one time I was in the studio, and then a friend of mine, Kabaseke, a very good guitarist, came to the studio, and then he was like, yo, let's do something. So we were singing to that song in the studio, and then I posted it on my Instagram, and I posted it on my WhatsApp status, and then my younger brother, Gabi, asks me, can you share that video? I sent it to him. He's the only one I sent it to.
Right.
And a month down the line, I get reposts and screenshots from almost strange numbers, people that I've never met. It's going round. On the video that I posted on my Instagram, people come and ask, people are asking, where's this song? Where can we get it? I was like, okay, people love this song. Let me just release it.
Yeah.
I didn't have the money for the video. I was like, okay, let me just release the audio. And the audio was out there, and everybody was like, oh, wow, this is a very beautiful song.
And then Ben Sol, I'm guessing, approached you?
No. Actually, about the song, we actually did it with Ben Sol from the Word Go. Like,
okay.
Yeah. Me, Ben Sol, and my good friend called Lioto.
Right.
And Lioto is actually the owner of the song, if I may say, because he's the one who came up with the hook. And then we just did a little bit of changes, and then we wrote the song, and I asked them to come to the studio, and we recorded the song. So the song was there already.
Okay.
Yeah. And then now I had to release it after people started asking, where can we get this song? Where can we get this song? So the love they showed me, that is something that I would never forget. I remember when I was releasing the audio, I was so sure that 1 month later, I will have 30,000. I'm sure. One month, I'll have 30,000. And I was like, wow. It was 1 month later, and I was like almost at 300K.
Amazing.
Yeah, so.
Incredible.
Yeah, so the love, I'm humbled forever.
Do you know, stories like yours actually make me believe that if you are humble, if you are grounded, if you're hardworking, and if you have a dream, anything is possible, right?
That's
what
true.
advice would you like to give young people out there who are inspired by you, boys in Kisumu town who are just really trying to make it big into the music industry, but don't know where to start? What would you tell them?
I wouldn't classify myself as a person who actually has made it yet, but I understand the struggle. And if anyone went through what I went through, I'd say you should always just believe that someday, somewhere, things will happen. Because there is this entitlement that comes with it. You're like, oh, you might forget and be, sorry to use the word, cocky, and think that, oh, I'm going to make I'm so talented. If I go to Nairobi or if I approach this person, they will love my music from the word go. And I'd say I was in probation for almost like how many years? I don't know. They were like, you're good. But it took a while to create a good rapport with them. They have to trust you with their work, because this is their livelihood. They're giving into. They're giving you their. So they would want perfection. So there are things that I see people actually in my DM. People come and like, oh Max, I'm an artist. Help me out. And I feel him, but I don't know what to tell him, because personally I'm also trying. So patience takes you a long way. There are times where I felt like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
But again, I say, okay. There are people, I'd go to my YouTube comments and I always refresh the newest, and I always like all the comments. And you'll always find somebody saying, oh, this song just blessed me. And I sit back and ask myself, you want to give up and this song blessed somebody?
Yeah.
So no, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So patience is the top advice that I would always give. Just be patient and
I'm
do your
actually
thing.
so impressed with the number of messages that are coming through on Twitter. I'm shocked, to say the least, because it's crazy how many people are actually, relating to your story. People are so impressed with your humble soul and, of course, the things that you're saying. So let me read one message for you. This guy is great. He's so authentic. That's from Linda. Another message that says, I really think Okello Max is a gem. That is now legit acoustic guitar melody. I love all his songs. Another one that says, there's one that I read and I'm like, I really want to talk. Okay, this one. Great interview with Okello. Okello, you've done so well for yourself and you're very talented. That's from Mr. B. Koyaya. So lots of, good feedback coming in. I'm sure you feel great. I'm sure you feel like you've come a long way with your journey, because now people are opening their hearts to you. People are really embracing you fully. And what next?
I should just tell them that I will not let anybody down, and I will always give my best, and I have a lot of music in store. But people should always should not categorize me as a rumba artist, because I see a lot of people think that I just sing rumba. So you'll be shocked, and I'm glad. I hope you will love my other side as well, because I always say I'm a musician. I haven't boxed myself to always say that I do this genre. I can sing anything. I'd sing reggae today. I'd sing rumba tomorrow.
Gengeton?
I'd sing rock. Gengeton is that is quite tough. I haven't hacked it because I don't understand the language.
Right.
Yeah, maybe if I just do it in Luo.
Yeah, that'd be cool though.
Yeah,
that'd be a nice fusion. Yeah, I must say.
Yeah,
something different.
I'd like to try it.
So you're open to any genres of music?
Any genre of music. Yeah.
Okay.
The other day I don't know if that should go out, but the other day we did an Arabic song.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm like, what? But I was just doing the BG as always,
Wow.
An Arabic song. I'm like, wow.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Maybe Hindi is next, Bollywood.
Yeah, I love Bollywood music actually.
Okay.
I always, my friends think that I'm weird. I watch Bollywood movies.
Really?
They're like, why do you watch these movies? They have a lot of lies. I'm like, no, you haven't watched the good ones. They're good ones, So I love Bollywood, and actually that's where I actually get my writing skills from.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, when I watch
Bollywood.
Yeah, when you watch, I don't understand the language, but they put the subtitles there. They are so poetic in their music.
Well, this is something that I didn't know.
Yeah,
very interesting, I must say.
Yeah,
so you actually watched a Bollywood movie, and then you saw the subtitles.
Yeah, I always read the subtitle. I'm like,
and
wow,
it's so
okay.
poetic.
Yeah, they're
especially
very
the songs.
poetic. Yeah, the songs. Somebody talking about the wind, and he'll refer the wind to the love that he's talking about. I'm like, wow. So that's where I actually get a lot of the inspiration, and then I come and do the same in my.
You apply it and it works. It's really causing a lot of buzz, and of course this is something.
People say that the Luo sounds like Spanish or French or something.
But it's true, because just off late, I believe Luo has become the language of love. We've seen you, the likes of Heart the Band, and of course now I think it's a new transition where people are calling Luo as the language of love in Kenya.
Yeah,
it's
but
very, very lovely to see.
It's just bad that they have branded the Luo men as the character development people.
I don't think so. I feel like you're a very sweet man. So ladies, look at Okello. Let's break that stereotype, okay?
Yeah.
We've got men like Okello as well who are out here romanticizing about you and the wind.
Yeah.
And really just showing you that a romantic can exist as a Luo man. Okello, I want you to perform Nakufa, please. I would request if you can do that. Everyone watching right now, I'm sure you'd love that. So let's get to it.
All right.
Sheriki mula mimi nakufa Aninya jomoko mami toyo funde na Ahero sana pile irundo gawia Nyati jomoka dieri la loga pacha Jodonga dengo tika yudo konyiruok na Aniwe ya huru monda sunge jabata Opong tumula toti unanimaliza Nihisi na wewe milele mpaka kufa Unisalie watoto mama Na kuahidi utokosa Aye idogode monda ketie kone mesa Aseko ye inkora teri mosanyola mama na Sheri mama Nakufa Sheri mama baby Nakufa yeah. Muziki santima Muziki bila jasho My mama Sheri, usiniache nitakufa Kila unaponipigia simu lazima nitakuja Ukisema nikuje jioni nitanunua chupa mama Oh, tupendane mpaka kufa Oh Sheri, mapenzi ya leo naogopa Kwanza warembo wangolopa Wameweka mitego kwenye maba Lord Ila ukinitega sitokata Nitakopa Nitaiba mama Nitachanga Nitalima oh Tupendane mpaka kufa Sheri mama Nakufa Sheri mama baby Nakufa
Nakufa for real. Thank you so much for that, Okello. I had an absolute blast with you today. You know, it's a pleasure hosting you. Your humility, your personality, your voice. Hey,
thank you so
Bila
much.
Jasho, one of the best artists I've heard, and of course your acoustic voice. I think you sound even better in person.
Oh wow, thank you so much.
Don't need no auto-tune.
all right, I'll tell them next time, don't put auto-tune on it.
Yeah, you don't need it.
Just leave it like that.
For what? Why? All right, so yes, thank you once again, and I really appreciate you coming here on KBC Channel 1 on Easy Friday. So once again, asante sana, and thank you for watching from home. That was the one and only Okello Max, lover boy, Mr. Romantic, man with the golden voice. And don't go anywhere, because coming up next, we've got DJ Coljax on Disco Funk, so make sure you tune in for that. Keep talking to us if you've got any messages for Okello. The hashtag is Easy Friday. That's it from me, Shiksha Arora. from KBC Channel 1. We'll catch you next week, same time, same place. Bye-bye.
Winning.